I believe it's gonna rain. Or like, I trust the sky's blue. I know it is. So belief and you add trust with it equals, everybody shout faith. So it's like this, okay? I need help from somebody. Hold on, let me see here. My guy, right there. Kalia, your husband. Would you come up here? Thank you. Is your ankle good? Are you out of the boot? Okay. I just want to make sure we're going to do Kung Fu. I'm just kidding. He's like, what? I was watching Kung Fu Panda the other day. So, hey, come up here. Come on, y'all make some noise for my friend. Come on, tell everybody your name.
Joshua.
What is it?
Joshua.
Say it again.
Joshua.
Say it with your chest.
Hi.
Okay, so Joshua, if I told you that you have an option to choose a chair, which would you choose? You would choose that one. So if I told you, which chair would you sit in if you honestly had a choice? The what?
The bigger one.
The bigger one. Okay. How come?
It's bigger.
What if I told you though, this chair was made to hold more than what you're carrying? Which would you choose?
Probably that one.
You would choose this one. You sure? You sure?
Yes.
You don't seem very sure. If you had an option, if you were coming to sit down by yourself, which chair would you choose?
Probably the small.
You're not a good helper. You're not a good helper. So let's act like that's the chair you would choose. That one over there. So which chair would you choose?
The big one.
There you go. Because it looks like it's made for somebody like you.
Yeah.
An adult. Not a kid. Okay? So that's the chair you would choose. But what if I told you this was God's will for your life? Which would you choose?
Probably the small one.
Still not a good helper.
The small one.
Still not a good helper.
The small one.
Say the big one.
The big one.
Why?
Because it'll work.
Okay. So, this is what I'm getting at. For most people, we choose the thing that looks like it'll hold us. We choose the thing that we believe we're confident that it's going to hold us. Now, we believe that both of these are chairs and both of these will hold people, but which would you honestly, you said not that one because it fell on you before, but let's practice like we're saying the big one, okay? Like an adult one. So which would you trust?
The big one.
Thank you. Come on. Y'all make some noise for Joshua. Because it looks like it would hold us, okay? But what if now I said, what if you saw someone else do it? What if you saw it hold somebody like with this situation? I'm a big boy. I like to eat. So we had sopapilla cheesecake last night. Come on, somebody. My love language. Sweets and Sheridan. Come on, somebody. Okay. It's our anniversary. We're going to try to make a baby this week. I'm just kidding. Relax. Her tubes are tied. Okay. Come on, relax. Shayla, don't touch her. Don't put that miracle on her. Hey, miracles can happen. Her tubes are tied, and she has a baby here today, okay? And her tubes are still tied, okay? Doc has no idea what happened. Miracle. Shayla, you need to touch somebody's womb today in Jesus' name. Somebody wants a baby, you got it today. You touch them, you touch their womb and say, I speak life into you. You're going to do that, okay? But if you saw me do it, it's holding me with all this situation. Would you sit in it now?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. This is what faith looks like. This is what faith looks like. Okay, I've seen God do it for you. I believe He'll do it for me. I've seen the chair hold him. So guess what? I'll sit in that chair. I'll sit right there because I've seen God do it for Eli. He'll do it for Joshua. Hey, I don't care what it looks like. Now listen, you see this chair? Even if he falls, guess what? He's got closer to a safer landing. But a lot of times we think that because this looks like it'll hold us, this is the chair that we choose, even though it's not God's will for our life. Well, this makes me look like an adult. This makes me look bigger. This makes sense. To stay at the job, this makes sense. To quit my job with benefits last year, it seemed crazy. You know how many of my friends said, Eli, you're crazy. I just told myself, I'm not going to believe in a system. I'm going to believe in a God. I'm going to believe in my Savior. I just want to show you. Thank you, Josh. Y'all make some noise for Josh. You're amazing. Hey, if I was a teacher, I'd give you a B+, okay? Thank you, man. Thank you. I just want to show you. Too much of the time, we think that because it looks like it's God's will, that's what we choose. The last point is just simple. It's simple. Faith is our foundation. Write that down. We think because it looks like it's gonna, but a lot of times God will ask you to do things that are gonna make you, like, Eli, are we supposed to be crazy? No. What I'm saying is a lot of times when you follow God, when you choose to have this thing called faith, people are gonna think you're crazy. In fact, God will ask you to do crazy things. God, that doesn't make sense. And that's where most Christians stop. Without faith, you can't please God. Without faith, you cannot be saved. John 3:16. Without faith, you can't even pray. So I've started thinking, as we close today, what story could I tell you? What story could I tell you? Could we talk more about Noah? And Noah's like, no. It's like, talk about your story, Eli. Many of you may not know this. You may know this, I don't know. But in March of 2020, my wife and I, we transitioned as lead pastors of a church called Word Alive Church. Some of you know, some of you don't know. We became the lead pastors of a church. And the very first thing we felt like God was calling us to do was to lead the church out of debt. Would you bring that up here? Cody was here. Leslie was here. Deborah, Miss Laura, Shayla. You just said it, so yeah. And in the middle of a global pandemic, when it didn't make sense, we started what we called Brick by Brick, a debt campaign to get out of debt. So in July, I announced to the church that we had $165,000 worth of debt. And I just had, God was telling us that we were supposed to be a debt-free church. So I get up, this is what I felt like. One of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Some of you were there that Sunday. I had to get up and tell the church, hey, by the way, we have this debt. You had no idea that this debt was there. It's not because of negligence or anything. It's because it was something good. It was a build out that Pastor Dan did, with this facility that we had. We rented the facility, but everything on the inside of it was paid for with this loan. So when we transitioned in our home, we believed in being debt free. We believe in not being a slave to the bank. So when we transitioned as lead pastors, we felt like that was the first thing we were supposed to do in the middle of a global pandemic. So in July of 2020, we stood up and we said, we're supposed to be a debt-free church. Ah! And people were like, y'all crazy. And this is what I said. I told Sheridan, it was me and a couple of the guys. I said, all right, brick by brick. God's gonna build his house brick by brick. And I said, we're gonna go get bricks as an example. And we're going to spray paint on the brick, Isaiah 58:12, that we're called to be repairs of the broken walls, restores the streets with dwellings, and all this stuff. We're going to rebuild the things in our city that are broken. We're going to do that. And that's what I said. I said each brick represents $1,000 worth of debt. And we thought she was going to get the house bricks. No, your girl gets cinder blocks. I am so tired of moving bricks. This morning I told Cody, hey, would you bring one of your bricks? So we spray painted on one side, Isaiah 58:12, and on the other side, $1,000. And I said, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to ask you to pray to do. This sounds crazy. I know it. Listen, I know it. I said, we're going to buy bricks one at a time, and we're going to get out of debt as a church. And the very first Sunday that we released it, I didn't let people give. Leslie was mad at me, but I didn't want it to be emotional. I don't want people to give them an emotional, oh my gosh, the keys are playing, it's so amazing, I'm gonna buy a brick, and then you regret it. No. But what I did is, my wife and I, we emptied our savings account that very first Sunday. And I told the church, I will never ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do 100%. And that's scary. 4 kids. She had gone on unemployment. I work at the city, y'all. The city of Lawton. People say, hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm in, I clean the streets. That's what I tell them. I'm a street sweeper. Oh, okay, cool. Some people are like, what do you do? I'm in collections. I work for the city. What do you do? Collections. Oh, that's cool. Anyway, I just tell people weird stuff. But we empty our savings account. Scary. We start this deal brick by brick. And I told Sheridan when we started, by the end of the year, it's going to be completely paid off. Seemed crazy. There was probably, 20 people there, maybe, 15, 45. Okay, I'm not good at math. I went to cash. Okay, pray for me. I'm sorry. And we started this thing. And people started buying bricks. I was like, these people are crazy too. People left the church over it. People were like, you're starting like you want people to tie in? You want them to I'm like, I don't know, it's crazy. People left the church. People told me, my friends at work, they was making fun of me. We got all these bricks on this. I'm having faith that our stage is going to hold the bricks. It was when we brought them all in, we were like, I don't know if the stage is going to be able to hold these bricks. And I kept saying, by the end of the year, it's going to be paid. I told a few people, I wouldn't tell them, be careful who you tell, because they think you're real. I told a few people, you can take that picture off. My gosh, that's scary. And so I kept telling people. So in December, we're there, and we were having a year-end offering towards this. And I told the church, I said, bring your best offering, sacrificial offering. And again, I've been working overtime, building up, all this stuff. And we felt like God was telling us to empty our savings account again. Sheridan's talking about going to work at Wayne's. Carl, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but I got 4 kids. What am I supposed to do with all these kids? They're going to get tired of ramen noodles every night. You know what I mean? Hot Pockets. So we're going in, we're stepping into this season where we're gonna give it all again. And I remember that Tuesday, I'd write my messages. Tuesday, I was off from the PD, and I'd write my messages. And our pastor called. He said, "Hey, what are you talking about?" We're talking about year-end offering, and then I think we had 135 or something like that we still owed on this whole thing. And I told him, I said, I believe it's going to be paid off by the end of the year. I don't know. I think God's going to. And now we're like the second week of December. Crazy. I know. That Tuesday, I just tell him, you heard me. I was on the phone, had him on speaker. I just think it's going to be paid off by the end of the year. And he, what he said? He said, well, you don't know if like our biblical year is not the same year as Jesus' year, the Hebrew year, all that. And all that. I said, I don't know. I think it's going to be by our year. I don't know, 2021. I told my friend at work, Billy, we would always ride together, and I told him, I said, man, I think God's going to do a miracle. I said, I think it's going to be paid. He's like, man, you're crazy. I said, I don't know. I feel like I am crazy too. And so we're now coming. Now it's Saturday. It's Saturday. It was a miracle how we got the money that we were supposed to give anyway. That's a whole nother story. But we empty our savings account. We got the money in cash. I'm like, let's just go to Mexico, girl. Let's go. Let's go to Cancun or something. Come on. But that Sunday we're going to give. I preached the whole message. Some of y'all were there. Y'all remember I preached this whole message. I built this altar and I put Axel on it. Abraham, Isaac, at the altar of obedient sacrifice, God will provide. I put Axel on it. Y'all remember? And I tied his hands up. And some people I'm like, what if people are here for the first time? They're going to think you're God. I'm like, I don't know. But I told the story about Abraham and Isaac. At the altar of obedient sacrifice, God will provide. We were going all in again. Giving everything we had. So it's Saturday. We have the money. She's got it in cash. We show up to church. Or no, that Saturday. I'm driving around my cruiser, police car. I work Saturdays. It's 9 o'clock. I'm scared. I don't know about you, but I think there's something about fear in the face of faith. If it's not scary, it's not God. I just want to throw that. That's what I feel like. Sometimes I know God does some small things and all that, but a lot of times God's going to do big things. And it's going to be scary, build an ark. Scary, face a giant. Scary, part of Red Sea. Scary. I'm driving in my cruiser. I'm praying. I might have even been crying. Like, God, this is what are we supposed to do? I text our elders at the time and I say, hey, I'm believing for a miracle tomorrow. And I ended, I said, faith for the future. I think only one of them even texted me back. Our elders at the time, they thought I was crazy. I think only one of them had given at the time. And I love them, they're amazing, I love y'all. If y'all are watching here, whatever. But they even thought we was crazy. We showed up that Sunday. Well, no, so fast forward rewind. An hour later, Sheridan texts me. I'm driving my cruiser. Is that Linda? I thought that was you. And so, driving in my cruiser, an hour later, Sheridan texts me. Or so she starts calling me. And so I answer, and she tells me, hey, somebody from Transformation Church, they just messaged our Instagram account. I'm thinking, don't answer it. They're trying to hack us. Don't do it. It's a scam. She's like, I already answered. I'm like, oh man, now we're gonna have to change our Instagram, you know? I'm like, okay, well, what'd they say? They said, hey, tomorrow Pastor Mike wants to FaceTime. I'm like, I start crying. I'm crying. Like, how does he know us? Who are we? Who are we that he would know us? Like, this is somebody I watched from like afar. It'd be like, you know, for if you're old, it'd be like Bishop T.D. Jakes messaging you. Like, oh, how'd he get my number? She tells me, he messaged, they want to FaceTime with us tomorrow. I'm crying. I'm trying to take calls the rest of the day. I'm walking in alarm calls and I'm just crying. Oh, you're like, what's wrong? I don't know, something's in my eye. I didn't even know what was going to happen, but I knew there was going to be a miracle. And I just want to show you this clip. You got that? Watch this.
They asked them to be a part of the service today. So
Releasing people of debt. One of the team members said, well, I said, this sounds crazy, but why don't we end this graduation with releasing people of debt? I said, say that again. They said debt that they have either made, real debt, like financial debt.
Like that.
Like, how much could we get together as a church and tell people, not because of what you did, or what you deserve, or what you earned, but the unmerited, unearned, undeserved grace and favor of God. What if we could help people and release some of their debt?
Jesus being our message. Our foundational scripture over the next 7 weeks is going to be this. Isaiah 58:12. It says, your people will rebuild the ancient ruins, will raise up the age-old foundations. You'll be called repairer of the broken walls, restore of the streets with dwellings. The bricks on the stage, if you don't know, or you're watching, we didn't go live last week, the bricks on the stage, they weren't placed here by design, they weren't placed here by accident, but each brick has a purpose for the direction of the church. So last week we brought everybody to the table and we shared the vision with you for the Brick by Brick collection and how we as a church are going on this journey of faith, believing that we will be a debt-free church. Come on, somebody.
Find that number. Yeah, put my fist on me. Thank you, Justice. I found a church in Lawton, Oklahoma. A church that's multi-ethnic. All the things that we desire to be multi-ethnic, multiplying. They're just doing their thing. How you doing, Sheridan?
Hey,
You okay?
we got our elders.
You got who?
Our elders and leaders.
Look at elders and leaders in the background. Somebody must have tipped them off that something was happening today. So is your husband preaching right now? Is your husband there? Elijah, come on in here, bro. Hey man, I just wanted, hi, beautiful. I saw your crazy faith card out of thousands that were sent here. And I went through your whole Instagram and I saw that you guys are exactly where we were 4 years ago. And, I'm getting emotional. I saw that you wrote down that you guys needed $134,000 or something around that for your building to be, the debt to be released. And so on behalf of Transformation Church, I want to let you know tonight you're going to sleep better. Because that debt has just been canceled. Y'all still there? Did y'all hear me? Are those tears going down your eyes, bro? I know what those tears mean. I know what God is doing. And I want you to know that out of all of these people, God let me see it. And he wanted y'all to know that he's got you. But we serve a God that does exceedingly, abundantly, above all we can ask or think. So on top of the debt being paid, there's a check for $115,000 so that y'all can do whatever God tells you to do next.
Leslie jumping over there. Go, girl. Come on. Come on. Come on. That's, yeah, y'all can shout, make some noise for that. That's what I call, it's a stone of faith. The Bible tells us when he would do miracles, when they crossed the Red Sea, what he would tell them is he would say, go back and put a stone. So whenever they ask you, what does it mean? You can tell them. These bricks, like this is their personal one, because they bought several bricks. I said, take a brick, and at least take one and put it in your home. So when your kids ask you, what does that mean? Oh, Andre, he was happy to get his brick. I remember. What does it mean? We can tell our kids. I felt crazy. I felt crazy telling people we're supposed to be out of debt. I felt crazy. I felt crazy telling people that it's going to be a miracle. God's going to pay it off. I felt crazy. But it's only crazy until it happens. My friends at work, they were like, wow. My friends at work, like they believe in God now because of it. And it didn't just stop there. And okay, well, what happened? What happened? Well, we paid the debt off. And I got a picture whenever we went to the bank and we paid that debt off. Pastor Danny, we gave him the check and we said, hey, take this in. We walked into the bank. Look at this. Come on, somebody. We walked in. We paid the debt off. We bought a car for somebody. Come on. Right here. Deborah. We gave back to the community some, $32,000? We put homeless people in a motel during the winter. Come on, we did so much good. Paid it, and then I remember Sheridan had a dream, probably a year prior before that, and she had a dream that a man would walk up to us and he'd say, here's a check so your husband can go and do what God's called him to do. And so I knew at some point I was going to leave the police department, my comfort. I knew I was going to leave it, but I knew I wasn't going to leave at the expense of my family. My family was going to still be provided for. So for a year, like that was able to pay my salary after I left. Not all of it, that'd be a good salary. Come on, somebody. But this past February, that ended. And God was so faithful. We had no idea that we would relaunch it. We had no idea. We didn't own the building. We rented that building. I had no idea that we would get out of the building. We knew we would change the name. We knew all that. We had talked about it with the team, talked about it with Pastor Dan. We knew that. I didn't know. I felt crazy again when I told the church, hey, we're going to feel like God's calling us to get out of the building, get back to the basics, and break it down. I didn't know what that meant. We got out of the building. We moved to my living room. My God, I'm glad we're out of there. And we have 100 people in my living room. It was crazy. Sundays were insane. Cleaning up after. Come on, some of y'all were there. I'm part of the launch team. And we would go on this journey of relaunching the church. People thought I was crazy. Come on, I felt crazy. I'm just trying to show you in your life, God's going to ask you to do things that are going to feel crazy. But if God calls you to it, He'll lead you through it. I don't know what it is, but I want you to know, if you call this home, we're going to do crazy things. In one season, they'll call it crazy, and the next season, they'll call it faith. I declare we will be a church that our foundation is faith, that we will move by the voice of God. So now, worship team, y'all come up here. We'll preach all day. I'll preach all day. I got to take my girl to the city this week. Come on. I tell you always, man. So it's like, what's next? What's next? Because the Bible talks about we go from glory to glory, faith to faith. And I've just learned, I promise you, during the long season was the hardest season of our life. We lost a baby, that was harder than that. There would be days I would go to the gym, and I'd be in the gym, and I'd just be crying. Because a lot of times, what God asks you to, it's not going to be easy. So it's like, Eli, what's next? There's this guy, he wishes to remain anonymous. He's actually in church, but he wishes to remain anonymous. What he said is, hey, I believe in what y'all are doing so much that I want to match you dollar for dollar up to $40,000. So he said, if you raise $40,000, our church will give you $40,000. I said, come on, bet. $40,000 ain't nothing to my God. And so we just started deciding as a team. We've been talking about it. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And so the idea is maybe, just maybe, can we make this our home? Like, is this the place God has for us? I've been getting estimates. I've been looking, what is it going to cost us? Because I want y'all to know, this doesn't have AC, and it's about to get hot in here. It's getting hot in here. Keep it close up. If we decide to make this our home. And so now I believe, and I have faith. Maybe it won't be, I don't know. And a lot of times it's like, well, I'm not stepping out in faith because I'm worried about God's reputation. God has never needed you to protect His reputation. I've just decided, even if I think it's God, I'm gonna say, okay, God, I think it's you. Maybe faith. I've just decided that's how I'm living my life. If you're gonna ride with me, we're gonna be crazy. And we're gonna step out, and our city's gonna think we're crazy. But whenever we drop 8,000 eggs from the sky, they're gonna think, oh my gosh, that's a cool church. That's an amazing church. And we're gonna share the message of Jesus with them. So now, we all have an opportunity as a church. We've called it, we decided we're talking as a team, we're gonna call it, Let's Make This Our Home campaign. Let's make this our home. I wanna tell you, the next few weeks, we're going to be going on this journey, and I want to say, listen, if God tells you, do not give a dime if God does not tell you. But if you want to be a part of the miracle of God, if you want to be a part, listen, I've told Sharon this, I don't know what it's going to 100% cost us to redo this building, because we want to do some stuff in the kids' side, and some people are going to get us some estimates this week. I don't know what it's going to cost us, but the number's not a problem to me. Because it's my God. What I know is if I'm following purpose, God will bring provision. And if this is the place God has provided for us, then He's going to provide the things that we need to do. Come on, it's not going to be 110 degrees and you're going to be sweating. I know it was cold this week. Today it was cold. We got the heaters on. Probably real warm right there. But everybody else, you might be cold. I don't know. But during the summer, I said we're going to have AC. So I just want to give you that opportunity. This is an opportunity for you to be a part of this, to join in faith. Because we say here at the church, faith is our foundation. Come on, would you stand to your feet today? Come on, everybody just shout it out. Make this our home. Shout it out like you believe it. Let's make this our home. Oh, it's going to be crazy. I believe that the things that we've seen God do, it's nothing compared to the things that He's going to do for the church. Come on, what I know is if He does it for this house, He wants to do it for your house. My friend, I don't know what it is that God wants for you in your life. What are you believing for?